We are broadcasting. Okay. Yay, and we're live. Okay. It was a bit stressful 30 minutes that led up to this, but I'm super, super happy to be here with you today. And what we are going to look at is how to make a sometimes never-ending project happen. And the tool that I'm going to share with you today to use to make this, to help you is Asana. So I'm sure that you've dealt with or just thought about maybe launching a product, redoing your website, creating a signature program, organizing an event. But every time you thought about something like that, then it became super overwhelming just because it was this huge, big thing that was looming over you and you didn't know how to approach it. And it is a big undertaking for us to start working on something like that, especially if we are the copy editor, the person who does the tech stuff, the all these little things that we have to do in order to bring this project to completion. So it can become super overwhelming. So what I would like to do today is to give you a roadmap, something for you to kind of to ground you, so whenever you start working on this new project, you know what step to take next. There'll still be things that you will not know, but at least you will have this framework to help you. And thank you so very much for everyone who submitted their projects for me to use as case studies. I thought by saying that I'm going to pick 3 super very distinct ones that will make my choice easier, but every single project that was submitted was absolutely amazing, and they were very, very different one from between themselves. So I did select 2, but I hope that if you've submitted your project and you received my email with kind of counter offer, that you'll take me up on it, because I would love to assist you further and then feature you either on my blog or in another call that we do, so that we can look at how we can make your project happen. So what I would like to do today is share with you my Asana to show you how we're going to use it in order to create to work on the project. So just give me a couple of seconds once everything gets connected. And if you might be new to Asana, or you might have used it but you are not familiar with it just yet. So okay, so you can see my screen, I believe. All right, so let me show you. So this is going to be our area that we'll be working with today. And to start with, let me just give you a brief overview of Asana, because you might be new to it, you might not feel comfortable using it. So before we even jump into how you can organize information about the project in Asana, let me just give you a very, very quick overview. So the way Asana displays information is that you go from broader level of organization on the left to more specific one on the right. So on the left-hand side, you can see the list of your workspaces, and these can be your workspaces or workspaces of people who've shared their Asana with you, and I have quite a bit just because I work with my clients. I help them with structuring their Asana, but basically this is just a list of workspaces I have access to. Then you will see a link to my tasks, and my tasks are the tasks that are assigned directly to you. After that, there is my inbox, and my inbox is a very cool place, and basically it shows what happened in Asana from the time you last logged in. And this is a place, if you get into the habit of checking your inbox once you visit your Asana, you don't really need those email notifications that you receive, because there you will see everything that happened, especially if you work with somebody. on a project or somebody's helping you run your business. So my inbox is a terrific place to see what happened just at a glance. And then there is my dashboard, relatively new feature. This is a place that will give you a graphic of how your project, where you are with your project. There's a high-level overview, and basically there it shows you the line of tasks that you need to accomplish for a project versus the tasks that still need to be accomplished. And I'm going to, so right now I'm going very briefly over different features, but we are going to come back to them later on, so you don't really need to worry if it goes too fast right now. So the left hand side is also the place that lists your projects. And this is the side, the left-hand side is a bit more static than the rest, because depending where you, whenever you select a specific project on the left, then the middle side changes and it lists the tasks for this specific project. Also, when you do a search, the middle pane is the area where you will see your search results. Basically, list of tasks. All right, let me go back for a second. So we talked about left pane, the middle pane lists your tasks, and then going to the right pane, and this is the place that will give you information about each individual task specifically. Here you can assign a task, give it a due date, even break it down further into subtasks. This is also a place to either add attachments or maybe give links. Links from Dropbox and Google Drive, for example, are live in Asana. So you don't really need to physically add information, but by giving a link, you will ensure that whenever you are working on a task, you have that document right there, so you don't need to search for it. And another great feature on this right-hand side is the comments area. And this is the place where you will be actually having conversations with people as you work on a project. You will rely less on your email and more on this comments area to ask for feedback, to tag somebody, and update them on where you are. So this is really, really useful place. So again, this is just a high-level overview of Asana. And later in our training, we'll be coming back to the individual features. But don't worry if something you did not catch right now. You will get a chance to see where and how these different features can be used. So this is just a bit of an overview to make you comfortable with Asana. And you might see these little rocks. What you can do, basically, in account settings, you can select different themes. So if your Asana looks slightly different than mine, it's just because I selected this theme. So this is all. If your looks blue for now, it's perfectly fine. But you can pick a theme in your settings. So this can make your using Asana a bit more fun. Okay, so let me show you now how you can plan and manage your project. First of all, we'll begin with defining the project. And here, what I would like you to do is go beyond giving your project a name. Get really clear what you're trying to do and why. And on top of that, envision the end result. And what this will help you with is that as you work on your project, it will energize you because you know what you're trying to accomplish. But besides that, it will also give you ideas of how you can break your project into smaller chunks that you can further work on. And another thing that you will do at this very initial stage is specify the due date. I know that committing to a date might be uncomfortable and maybe scary, but you've got to declare the project completion date to make this project real. You have to speak it into existence as you talk to people about it, as you just share what you are up to. So giving it a due date will make that project almost tangible. So do that. So at this point, let me quickly show you one of the projects that I've selected to show you as a case study. And this is Kate, who is working right now on a telesummit called Reclaiming Wildness. And let me read for you the description that Kate gave this project, because you will know what I mean by give this project more just a name. So Kate said, embodying the new business paradigm is a gathering of conversations with women who are doing business straight from their souls. There is so much chatter out there about business building formulas and what it means to succeed online. And there is a growing wave of people who are creating businesses straight from their hearts, allowing intuition to guide them just as much as strategy. This interview series will give you insight into stories and paths of women who have turned away from formulaic and have created successful businesses from the core of their hearts, embodying a way that is wild, free, and profitable. So I get chills just reading this, and that is why I invite you to give description of your event in a similar manner, so that it energizes and inspires you before you can share it, and so that whenever you share it, then it inspires other people as well. And as you can see, Kate followed my suggestion and gave her a project a due date. It will be happening on January 12th in 2015. So let me quickly show you how you can start doing that in Asana. So let me go back to my workspace, and in order to create a project in Asana, now that you've thought about the project itself, the name and the description, what you can do, you can go into projects right here on the left-hand side and click on the plus sign. And it will give you this like blank canvas of a project. And right here, you will give your project a name, we'll say test project. And right here, you will give the description and assign a due date. So these are the only 3 little steps that you will need to do at this stage. Click on the plus, give your project a name, give a description, and project due date. Let's move on to the next step. So next step would be looking at the moving parts of the project. And this can be challenging, because we don't always know what needs to happen for any given project. And this is also the part that causes overwhelm if we don't put the items in an order that feels doable. So in order for you not to deal with that overwhelm, let me show you what you can do. And here you can see that I created these little subtasks, as I mentioned before. All you do is click on this little subtasks button, and then it creates this little check boxes right here. It's just a side note. So let's look at the first step that you will do. You will brainstorm the tasks that have to go into your project. Capture all your ideas of what needs to happen. And you don't really need to edit yourself at this point. Just list everything that comes to mind. If you have a friend, or if you have a team member, somebody to brainstorm with, do invite them to this brainstorm session. Maybe have a Skype chat and just bounce ideas of each other. It will give you some ideas of how it can be done, plus they might share their experience. And speaking of experience, if you are dealing with something completely new, maybe getting in touch with somebody who's done something similar would be very helpful. You can ask them how they approached the project, what were the lessons they've learned about this, like this setup implementation part. You can learn great things from somebody who's done something if you feel comfortable asking them about it. So again, just brainstorm the items that would need to go as you think into for this project to happen. And even if you don't find all the answers that you were looking for, put on this list everything that you think will have to go into the project. And let's go back to this test project. Let me just pin it to the top so that I can easily move to it. And all I did, as you can see, there is a little arrow right here, project actions, and this one is already on the pin to the top. But if you click on it, if it's not in favorites, the first option will be add to favorites. And what it does, it pins it to the top and creates this little shortcut. So it will be easy for you to find this project afterwards. So this is our test project. We've given it a name and gave it overview. And here is where you will start typing tasks. And this area pretty much works like word editor. So all you need to do is to type something and hit enter. Type something. This is all that. All right. So the first part was the brainstorming session, and only after that you'll go and you'll organize your tasks. And here is what I mean by that. Look at the list of tasks that you've created for yourself, even if it's a preliminary list of tasks, and see what would be the logical ways of grouping those tasks. And a bit of a high level classification can be, say, if you're organizing an event, it can be chronological stages: pre-event, event, post-event. If you want to create a new product, then you can use the sequential phases, like survey the audience, then create the actual product, promote it, follow up, make tweaks to it. Something like, for example, the Asana guide that I created, I used stages of completion. So there was outline, there was first draft, second draft, then I recorded video tutorials, then I created templates, then I sent everything to the graphic designer, and we came up with the final product. So again, go back to your list and see how you can create categories for your tasks. And in order to create a category, all you do is category, put the name. Okay, put the name of the task just the way as you type it, and then put colon, and that creates this little category area. And the great thing about it is that you can very easily move it. So that's why when you work on that initial list, don't worry that the tasks are not in the proper order, or you've assigned something to one category, but then you are realizing that it needs to be moved. All you need to do is just, okay, let me just concentrate on what I'm typing. Category 2, and then you can move it wherever you want it to move. So this would be the second step of the step of determining the moving parts of the project, where you are organizing your tasks. So let us quickly look at what Kate did with her list of tasks. So as you can see, first of all, she's defined the goals, and then there is graphic design elements, then there is copy, because it will be a collection of interviews. She also listed what needs to happen for her to arrange for the speakers, then the scheduling element, marketing, affiliates, replay. So as you can see, there is no formula how you can go about categorizing your tasks, but it needs to be something that makes sense to you, something that will be easy for you to follow afterwards. So, and after that, what you do is, oops, sorry, is you pull information about your project into Asana. And this is super important part, because the most frustrating thing when you start working on a task is spending more time locating information than actually working on the task. And it did happen to me, so it's really, if it happens to you, it happens to everybody. Don't worry about that. But Asana does allow us to pull that information into the system so that you don't waste time once you start working on something. And this prep work does allow us to save massive amounts of time down the line. So what can you do in Asana? The tools that Asana allows is that, first of all, you can give description of the task. If there are any details, maybe examples, you can give it right here, and you can always use the @ sign, just in the same way that you use in Facebook, to tag something or someone. You can tag people, you can tag tasks or projects, and let me see. So you can see when I put the @ sign and start typing something, then Asana pops up for me the tasks or projects that match what I started typing. So you can select from that drop-down menu what you want to tag to. Also, as I mentioned before, you can add attachments or links to Google Drive or Dropbox, and those links will be live. So once you click on them, they will take you to that document. And lastly, if there is something that that you want to make sure that the rest of the team sees, have them follow the task, and this can be done from here. And this then allows to for you to make sure that everybody who needs to be seeing this task will be seeing it once you start working on that. But let's come back to the people who will be joining us working on your project in a bit. Right now, what I want to show you is that once you've defined the project and determined the moving parts, then the next step would be to create a timeline and assign those responsible parties. And that's another reason why I mentioned at the beginning that it's great to have that final deadline. Maybe you'll have to move it. It's perfectly fine. So don't worry that it's just like that final deadline and it will be impossible for you not to make that deadline. But do have it so that at this point, what you can do is work backwards and see what needs to happen when. And if you are in a position to hire somebody, and there'll be some pieces that you will want to outsource to them, then you will run those deadlines by them and make sure that they can also they also fit their schedules. And once you work on your list and you look at it, and what you can look for is what are those tasks that require skills that you do not possess. And once you've defined those tasks, you will see if you want to learn those skills for you to check those tasks off your list, or you will find somebody who will actually do it for you. And then you can approach them and ask if the deadlines that you've predefined are good. Maybe at that point you will have to tweak them a little bit so that they work for everyone, but at least you will have this structure that you can work with already. And when you invite somebody to work with you and they say yes to you, if you are working in Asana on your project, do check in with them and see if it will be if they'll be okay with the fact that you'll be relying on Asana to manage your project. You can also ask them if they're familiar with Asana or not. The way you can share your project, so you don't need to share your entire Asana. So you see right here on the left-hand side little images of people who have access to my entire Asana. And if you want to do that, you can invite them from here by clicking on these two image of these little silhouettes. But if you want to share just a single project, as you are in your project, go to this blue button that tells you the number of members who this project is currently shared with. Click on it, and right here you will be able to add the email address of the person you want to invite. Do double check with the person who you are inviting what email you should be using. And that is important because if that person already uses Asana, they will give you the email address that is linked to their Asana account so that your workspace will be listed in the list of their workspaces here on the left-hand side. Or if they don't have an Asana account, then you have to make sure that the email that they give you is the email that they regularly check, so that whenever you start sending notifications or assigning tasks to them, they actually get those notifications and they quickly act on them. But the place to share the project will be right here. And what you will do if the person who you're inviting to use Asana to work with you on a project is new to Asana, a great thing to do is to record a short video. And again, don't worry, it doesn't have to be, you don't need to go over every single detail. What you will do is you will open your project and start recording your screen. And what you will need to do is give them the same brief overview that I gave you in the beginning, so that the link to the project will be on the left-hand side. Here, they will also see the link to the inbox to overview the progress on the project. And they can also look at the tasks assigned to them. You can, as you go through these categories of tasks that you created for yourself, you will show them, you will explain to them the logic of what happens when. You will tell them the deadlines and emphasize those parts of the project that they're responsible for. And lastly, you will take them to this right-hand side and tell them how they can add information, how they can ask something by using the comments area. If they want to tag somebody, that they should be using the @ sign. So just give them this very brief overview of Asana, show them the project, and they will slowly start getting used to Asana, and you will have the single place where you are managing your project. Next step is to create a structure to keep yourself and your team on track. And this is important because we don't work on our projects in a vacuum. We also run our businesses. We are raising a family. Maybe we are studying. Maybe we are working full-time. So there are all these other things that are happening in our lives. So making sure that we have time for this project is very important. So the best way to organize yourself as you are starting to work on this project is to create a weekly task list. And weekly task list is different from a daily task list, because what it lists is just core tasks that need to happen on a weekly basis. And that can be anything from writing blog posts and following up with your prospects to driving your kids to soccer practice or attending a class at the university. So just think about those things that need to happen on a weekly basis. See your availability, see what your schedule allows in terms of how much time you will be able to devote to your project on a regular basis, and only then decide what you need to reorganize, or what needs to happen for you to meet the deadline. I suggest that on a weekly basis, your task list should have between 3 and 5 project-related items. If they're very small, if they're just a 5-minute thing, then go ahead and have more. Or maybe your timeline is such that everything has to happen quickly. But I do recommend to start slow and pacing yourself. And I know that this is one of the least appealing pieces of advice that I give, but you've got to trust me that you will be much more productive if you're going slowly and steadily, and it will give you much more satisfaction of how you are handling the project, and then there is more probability of you actually finishing it strong and not getting burned out by how much stuff needed to happen, and that it needed to happen very, very quickly. And an important thing is to end your weeks, maybe if you want to start your weeks, then start your weeks with this weekly review, where you examine what's been accomplished during the week, reassign due dates for items that did not get completed, record items that never made it to the list, something that you've learned that you need to do, or something that you remembered about. So that initial task list that you had for yourself here in the middle, it doesn't have to be final. As you go through the project, things will be popping up. And something that Anne Samoilov taught me is that another great thing to have is a list, a CBB list, meaning could be better. So those are the items that would take your project completely over the top, but it's something that you might not have time for right now. There is not enough bandwidth, or there is no person to take care of that. So if you see some elements that they will not make it to this, you will not be able to complete them for this project, for this time around, then leave them. If they are not affecting the quality of the project, of the outcome that you're creating, look at what can be left out if you see that there is just way more to do than your schedule allows, or maybe budget. So, and strategic meetings like that will help you feel grounded and in control. Let me show you very quickly how my weekly schedule looks like. And this is my master, basically. And you can see that I have top priority items on the top, and it's something that happens throughout the week. I also have some of the course stuff. Here, I also assign approximate number of amount of time that I need for each one of them. But what it allows me to do is that I have, naturally, this is not everything on my task list on a daily basis, but the smaller things get accomplished in between these two things. When I know that I have this core stuff that needs to happen, it's easier for me to organize the rest of the day. And if you are if you would like to see this this template, you can just pause the replay if you'd like to, or there is this template in the Asana for Small Business Guide as well, if it's something that you want to look into. You need more information about, because there I devote to this weekly schedule an entire chapter, because it is very important. It's something that helps you stay productive and make sure that you have enough time for everything that needs to happen in your business and in your life. All right, let us quickly go back. So one last thing that I want to say about this structure to keep yourself and your team on track, and this would apply especially if you are working on this project but by yourself. Make sure that you find a friend who you debrief with on a regular basis. Somebody that you can, maybe that somebody who will keep you accountable. And then you will have this person to respond to in a way, but you will be updating them of where you are with this with the project, and they will be providing that support that you will not get if you are just working on this project by yourself, because it is very difficult to work on something without really having anybody else's input or not sharing with them our progress. So do think if you could have somebody who you have these regular conversations with about how you're progressing. Oh, something that I forgot, almost forgot to mention in this at this stage is that when you are working with a team, that definitely adds this extra level of complexity, because you have to see how you are monitoring their progress and they are performing at the level that you need from them. So what would be helpful, the structure that you can create for them then, is again, meet with them on a regular basis, and depending on the timeline of your project, it can be weekly, it can be bi-weekly, whatever you want, whatever frequency is best for you. But do meet with them on a regular basis. And it's always great to have a meeting agenda as you go into those meetings. And again, you have a template, so let me show you quickly the template of how it looks like. And this is also a template that you can find in the Asana guide, or you can just pause this recording. But basically, the structure will be very similar to what you do during your individual weekly reviews. And that is, first you look at what's been accomplished last week and what are the tasks that have not been completed. Then you look at your immediate goals and how, and if everything is actually lining up for you to achieve that final outcome and achieve it on time. After that, you set priorities for the next week. Make sure that you have those 3 to 5 tasks to work on, and your team members know those 3 to 5 tasks, or depending on their responsibilities, what they are working on. And what is super easy with Asana is that as you discuss those things, you can actually turn those action steps into tasks right there. So if they're not on your entire task list here in the middle, then as you... I apologize, this is my husband's phone. All right. Okay, sorry about that. So you create action steps out of these individual tasks. Other way around. You create tasks out of the action steps, and then it's you have this actual tangible things that you will be working on. So it's not you just talked about it and then everybody forgot about it. It already exists in Asana, and you can follow up on very specific items. And lastly, it's always great to invite your team members to give suggestions, feedback, any ideas that they want to share, maybe even criticism. And for one, it's something that brings those new ideas. Maybe it's something that they've done before. Maybe it's something that they know how to do better than what you suggested. But it also allows your team to feel that they're contributing to the entire project. So do involve them and ask for their feedback. So doing it on this regular basis during your meetings is a great time to do it. And also, as you use Asana more and more, managing this project, keep re-emphasizing for your team members that they should keep project-related conversations in Asana. So they rely less and less on their emails, so that everything that needs to happen for the specific project stays here. All the comments, all the conversations. So this way, you don't really need to go outside of Asana looking for that information. You can also add tasks and project followers, as we just mentioned earlier. And the difference is project or task followers is that they will not be responsible for that project, but the update about that task will be showing up in their inbox. So they will be kept in the loop of what's happening with that task, or maybe they are the ones overseeing that task. So it will allow them to see the progress as well. And yeah, reemphasize them also to use inbox instead of relying on messages sent by email by Asana. And actually, if you go into your account settings right here, this would be the place. If you go to email, this would be the place where you can manage how you receive those notifications from Asana. Maybe they come as individual notifications, maybe as a digest, or you can switch them off completely. And I've started with notifications, and now I completely rely on my inbox, because every time I log into it, then I know and I see the entire task. I don't go through the list looking for updates, but all the updates are listed in my inbox. So this is super useful. Okay, and the very last thing is to plan for success. And I added this item because no matter how excited we are about our projects in the beginning, we have to be prepared for our enthusiasm to wear off once we start working on our to-do list. It does get very hard, and especially if it's just you in your to-do list, then it's just like it gets rough. So do be prepared for that, and you can do just you can do a few things to make sure that it's not as hard. Let me just take a sip of water. Okay, so first of all, set clear intermediary goals and milestones, and try to set them up in a way that they are relatively close to one another, meaning that the shorter are your goal horizons, the easier it will be for you to keep the momentum going. Because as you check off those like larger tasks of your list, you will see how you're making that project, and do acknowledge yourself for that, because it will be important again for you to see what you are doing and that you are actually making progress. Another thing is that it's great to set a project marker for yourself and your team at about 70%, 2/3 into the project. And this is something that athletes are very much familiar with. When the finish line is close, then they get that extra energy. And the same thing happens when we work on our projects. When you know that there is just a few little things that are left, then it speeds up your progress and increases your productivity. So mark that 2/3 mark so that you know when that point comes. What you might also do is give yourself a perceived head start by building progress into your goals. And by that, I mean, for example, you can already list tasks that you've accomplished for this project, even though you are just putting it into Asana. For example, for Kate, she already had conversations with several ladies that she wants to interview, and several of the ladies said yes to her. She will still put those names on the list, on her task list, and will check them off. But even though she's officially starting to work on this project right now, she has built in this progress into it. So then it gets emotionally much easier working on the project. Something else that you want to keep in mind, if you find yourself in this kind of dead end, that you don't really know what needs to happen next, and it's something big, something you're not really sure how to go about, or there are many unknowns in how something needs to happen and it kind of brings you down, concentrate on the next logical step. Don't think about all those unknowns. You don't really need to know everything that needs to happen, and you don't need to know in advance. Just know what needs to happen next, and maybe that next thing will be just calling somebody up and asking for advice. So don't get discouraged when things get, when you become very unsure about what needs to happen and whether it's going to happen. Concentrate on just the next logical thing. And lastly, my advice is to stop telling yourself that maybe that you are inconsistent, maybe unorganized, bad at following through, even if there were projects in the past that you started and never finished. Be nice to yourself. Don't give too much energy to your negative thoughts. Instead, concentrate and bring back memories of those situations when you did make things happen. And worst come to worst, again, have a chat with that friend who blindly believes in you. This will keep you going and give you that energy when you feel like your natural energy supplies are very low. So project management can be intimidating. I'm not going to lie to you, and it's hard for everybody. But I hope that now that you have this structure, your intimidation have a bit subsided, and now you can have this compass that keeps you on track. So before I let you go, let me go back to Kate's list and show you something that I have created for her. It's very a really great trick that I use myself. As you know, as you have figured, that I love templates, and creating templates in Asana is super easy. For example, something that you might want to consider as you create this task list for yourself, you might want to, if it's a project that you will be working in the future on something similar, you can always use that project as a template or copy the project, and it will copy all this list of things. Say if you have a launch or something, you can have a launch template, something that you use on a regular basis. You can use as templates not only projects, but also tasks. So let me show you something. So Kate has speakers, these ladies she will be interviewing. And what she needs to request from each one of them is to schedule themselves, submit information, and things like headshot, bio, how they are called, etc. If Kate were just sending those emails out and collecting stuff as it came back, it would be difficult for her to know what who submitted what, and maybe somebody submitted the entire list of things that she requested, but another person left out two, or maybe they've done everything but did not schedule themselves. So if it just sits in an email, it would be very difficult to keep track of that information. But instead, what she can do now that stuff is in Asana and she has this clear list of things that she needs to collect from each person, she can come to this task, copy it from here. You can see this little arrow, and one of the options is to make a copy. Give the name, say, Abby Wright. Create a new task. And this task, as you can see, has the same lineup of things right here. So when Kate receives back Abby's email with her information, then she can already check off the items that have been submitted, and items that have not been submitted. She can follow up and make sure that she gets them as well. But this way, it will be super easy to see who submitted what, and also when you when she receives, for example, an email from Abby or from the rest of the speakers, she can send that email into her Asana, and then attach it right here. She will mention it with this @ sign, and this way all these items that have been submitted will be sitting in this task as well. So all Kate will need to do is go into each individual lady, and their information will be in one spot. And say Kate is working with somebody who is helping her, say, create the page with everybody replace. She can just share this project with that person, point them to these subtasks, and then they can collect all information that they need for that specific page. So as you can see, this is a super useful trick to, first of all, make sure that you're on top of your follow-up, and then you can easily ask somebody else to take care of this task once you've done this initial part. Let me also very quickly speak about another project that I have received, and this is something that is very dear to my heart. So Michelle, what she would like to do is she wants to create this guide, and she referenced E-Myth, if you've read that, by Michael Gerber. But she wants to create a guide which will list all these different things that need to happen in her business for her employees, so that they can operate the business when she is away. So basically, she doesn't want to have this, doesn't want to be hands-on all the time. Something will be happening in her life that she will have to step away, but she wants to make sure that the business runs smoothly in her absence. So the types of things that she wants to document is some technical aspects of running her online courses and all this step-by-step that needs to happen. She needs to have documentation for her customer service assistant, documents for troubleshooting. So it's something that normally can be created somewhere in Google Drive or somewhere else. But I find that sometimes it's difficult to find those things. You can very easily create something like that in Asana. And what Michelle can do is that, let me show you my Systems Rock Business Hub. So Michelle, my advice to you is create these categories in the similar way that I have created. And then each one of those categories, for example, one of them can be your online programs, and here you will list each one individual program, and then the necessary tasks or list of tasks for them. So this is not a task list, as you can see. What I did here, actually, you can see that I have a long list of projects right here, and scrolling up and down to find something would be time consuming, and I cannot pin all of them to this favorites area. Instead, I have this kind of like summary reference points for everything that is happening, and you can see that there is marketing, there is content, there is admin stuff, there are products. But what I do afterwards is that, for example, Asana for small business. Sorry, I'll take a sip of water again. So just like I told you, I use the @ sign to link to the specific projects. So as I was working on Asana for small business, I had a project with just the launch side of things. Then there is this our presentation that we are doing right now. No, sorry. This was the task list for me to put together the Hangout, and then our presentation, then the templates, the videos. So as you can see, there is a bunch of things that happened, and for me to look for it on this left-hand side would be difficult. But when I have everything in this one single place, it's so much easier than to look for it. So Michelle, what I would recommend to you is look at all these different structures that you want to document. Again, list them, open this new project, start listing those structures right here in the middle. Then see how you can create categories for them. Some will be admin stuff, some will be stuff for your customer service person, some of them will be for your different courses. And what are those step-by-steps that need to happen? You can easily create templates, as I mentioned, by just listing everything and then referencing the documents that you have already saved in either Google Drive or Dropbox. You've mentioned that you already have quite a few documents there. So at this point, what will be necessary is just bring everything together in this one logical structure. And Asana will definitely help you do that. And then what will happen is that once you have those step-by-steps, you will assign the tasks to specific people, and by going to my inbox on a regular basis, see that everything is happening when it's supposed to be happening. And that doesn't have to be you. Maybe you will have a project manager who will be doing that for you, but it will be so much easier than to oversee everything. And if you assign due dates, to make sure that everything happens at the time when it's supposed to happen. So let me now go back and okay, make sure that I'm back. All right. So what I would like you to do now is, if you have questions, you are more than welcome to ask your questions. And in the meanwhile, I will go back to the comments area and see if there was anything new that was asked. All right. So we had a question from Lori, and she was asking if Asana would be suitable for solo entrepreneurs and not just teams. And yes, Lori, absolutely. It's something that your Asana can allow you to do. And what I do, as you saw, I use my Asana for managing my schedule day to day, for managing different business-related activities. I create templates out of just about anything. And my Asana guide, I share practically every single template I have and tips that I have found using Asana. So for sure, Asana is very much suitable for solopreneurs as well. All right. And Lisa was saying that she was looking for a tool to organize herself and multiple projects moving forward. So I hope, Lisa, that I gave you enough ideas how you can organize your project in Asana. And yes, you can link Asana to your Evernote. There is an integration element that allows you to actually create tasks, turn Evernote notes into Asana tasks, so you can easily use both and use Evernote more for collecting information and Asana for managing project and using that information. Christina is asking if she can assign 2 people to one task. 2 people to one task is not really possible, but what you can do is to assign a person and then have other person to oversee, to follow that task. And you can just give them instructions to either guide them through the person who is actually assigned to the task, but having somebody follow that task will ensure that that person gets all the notifications about that task, any comments or information being added or something like that. So that person will have a very close, will be able to keep a very close eye on that task as well. All right. Let me, so if you have any other questions, you can post it right under this video. And let me see if we have any other questions right here. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. All right. So I guess we are out of questions at this point. I hope I've answered all your questions as I was presenting. So as promised, what I will do is I will send you complimentary free chapter from my new guide, Asana for Small Business on project management. So most of the features that we've mentioned throughout the presentation today are outlined in that chapter. So you will be able to follow it step by step. And again, look at the steps that we've gone over today and make sure that when you work on your next project, you take it slow and go step by step so that you don't get overwhelmed. And when you do invite other people to work with you on a project, they actually help and it doesn't get too frustrating to keep track of everyone and make sure that everyone is on the same track. So thank you so very much for being here with me today. And if you have any questions about Asana, how to use it or how to use it for specific in specific ways, feel free to get in touch with me, Natasha@systemstruck.com, and I'll be happy to resolve your query. Thank you so much.